All right, you guys. So we are live in effect. When you guys hear that intro music, you know what time it is. It's time for the Locker Room Show. We've got an amazing show lined up for you guys. Sorry for the delay, but the delay is going to be well worth it because we got somebody special in the house tonight. So let me get started, you guys. For those that are joining us for the first time, I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood. My boy that holds me down every single Thursday in the locker room is with me, and that's none other than Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach, man? Feeling good, man. We got another legend on, man, and we about to have a great show, man. Got some good stuff lined up, so y'all buckle up.
Yes,
Y'all buckle
indeed.
up.
Yes, indeed. So just like he said, you guys, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We've got a Southern legend. This is somebody that grew up in a small town, you guys, South Carolina. He went on and made good for the hometown, ended up becoming a second-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, had an amazing 11-year career, you guys, was known as an enforcer on the football field. The whole defense was enforcing things on the football field. But Levon Kirkland, you guys, this is somebody that is in the Hall of Fame at Clemson. Power 5 University. A lot of you guys would love to play at Clemson. He's in the Hall of Fame, the Sports Hall of Fame for the state of South Carolina. And then you guys has had time coaching as well. So we definitely want to pick his brain on what he thinks about what's going on in the industry. And then also went back and got his degree. So an amazing person, an amazing player. And we're excited to have you tonight. Thanks for joining us, Levon.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No doubt, no doubt. So
Definitely,
let's get right into it, man. I already see some of our favorites coming in. We got Sadike Green. This is a young prospect that's going to be doing big things at the next level. Thanks for joining us. We've got Lorenzo Kirkland coming in.
That's me, actually. That's me.
Oh,
I was
okay, all
wondering
right.
how to get in. I didn't know how to get in at first. So Lorenzo is actually Levon Kirkland. Yeah. That's my first name.
You learn something new every day.
Yes, aliases, y'all. You got aliases.
We got you on both sides. We got the great Skip Winters joining us. We've got Coach Eric Foss, who I know is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. We've got Venture in Wellness. Thank you for joining us. So a whole bunch of guys and gals joining us tonight, and obviously we know why. So let's get into it, you guys. If you're joining us for the very first time, all the topics are right there on the bottom ticker. Obviously, we're going to cover Levon's journey, his football journey, and get some of his advice too. So let's get right into it, man. I mean, from a small town, and obviously not too many guys going off to play at Clemson from your high school. So when you sit back, Levon, and you really think about that journey from playing over there at Lamar High School to making it all the way to Clemson and then being a star there, who would you really give that credit to? Who's maybe 2 or 3 people that you feel really guided you along the way?
Oh, no question. I had great parents. And it was for the great parents and the great family, my brothers and sisters. I wouldn't have made it, but also I have to give a shout out to Terry Sires, my high school head coach, who really actually was the first one to really see the potential. And when I was a kid, I kind of manifested I was going to play pro ball. I mean, I didn't worry about the how. I just knew I was going to play. I manifested, threw the football in the air, and said I was going to play pro ball. And I didn't tell anybody because I felt like I had to really guard that dream. And then when I got to the 10th grade, my first year playing varsity, Coach Cyrus was the one who was like, if you get committed to this game, you're going to go to the next level. And I just believed him. I was like, cool. I can do that. And it really worked out for me. And it was really just having faith in God, having faith in myself. And when Coach Cyrus told me that he thought I can go to the next level, I believed him. And I just committed to the game. I just went in full steam ahead because I knew what I could do. And it just took someone to believe in me. And, my parents and Coach Stires basically was the people that inspired me.
Nice. And it's funny, Levon, that you say that, because I've referred back so many times. Going to the league, that D1 to go into the league, I constantly am making comment about referring back to that head coach. It's something about your high school coach. No matter what you going through, good, bad, ugly, whatever the case may be, it's that head coach that's like a fixture in your life, that you often owe a lot to, just helping you and guiding you and seeing something in you to get you to the next level, man. So
he certainly did.
Yeah,
he certainly did. He saw it in me, and I really believe that environment is important. It's the environment that teaches us and really mold our behavior. So he did that in a way. And because my parents really didn't know about being a student athlete or going to college,
right.
they did not finish high school. So it was Coach Stires who was the one who took me on my official visits to Clemson, to the University of South Carolina. My parents really didn't do it because my father had to take care of 8 kids. And he was working most of the time.
Yeah.
My mother was doing the same. So Coach Stires was the one who took me to my first college game, which was which for me, actually, my first college game was at South Carolina State with my brothers and sisters. But he took me on my official visits. And that meant a whole lot to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to really take this. It's funny because he's kind of short, blonde hair, always wore shorts, no matter how cold it was. And, there were a lot of great athletes from my hometown, but he was the one who really nurtured me to really commit myself to the game. And I really did. I really committed myself to athletics because I played basketball and also ran track.
Okay.
And which a lot of people don't know. I return putts and kickoffs and all that stuff. So
what?
When you're from a small town, you have to do pretty much everything.
Right.
Yeah. And I also played in the band too. I was a trumpet player in the band. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Oh, I'm about to say, I'm like, dang.
So they was using you up?
Yeah, they were. Boy. But I did vacuum the halls with my father. My father was the janitor at the high school. Okay. So I did a lot of work,
There you go. There you go. So, hey, a lot of you young athletes know that it's not just a one trick pony. It's a lot of people that have to join in to get you where you want to go. It's a community effort. So thank you for sharing that with us. I want to get on to our next topic. And this one is one we've got a lot of athletes, Levon, that tune into our show. And one of the biggest things that I found, man, is that consistency is what really moves the needle. It's not just your talent. It's not just, hey, you had one great game, but you were a 3-time all-conference player in the ACC, which is no joke. You went on to become an All-American. Obviously, if you're an All-ACC player 3 times, if you've had the length of NFL career that you've had, you've been consistent. So what would you say has been the biggest credit as far as keeping you consistent in your football career?
Well, I would say clarity. I always had a goal in mind. It usually was a pretty big goal. And when I got to Clemson, I wasn't very highly recruited at all. I probably got the last scholarship that year. But I knew about work ethic because of how my parents were. And then at my high school, you played all the sports, so you had to work. But I always had a clear goal in mind. In high school, it was about going to college. And really, the reason why I wanted that scholarship so bad is because I didn't want my parents to pay for college. They already did a great job of paying for all my other brothers and sisters. And I wanted to pay. I wanted to actually pay for my own school, but I also wanted to pay for my little sister's tuition as well. She was 10 years younger than me, but I wanted to do that for my parents. but I always had a clear goal in mind. Whether it was to make the traveling squad, or be a starter, or be an All-ACC player, or be an All-American, or uh, get drafted high. It was always really big goals. And it was the thing was just about having really good habits as well. Having a clear goal. Now the habits have to come into play. Right. And then when you got the clear goal and the habits, now you're really working your plan. And I just kind of work my plan every day, whether it's in the weight room or it's on the field. Man.
Was it easy to keep working the plan when the accolades started coming?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I'll be truthful with you, because you can get caught up, You can get caught up in the fame, and you get caught up in the success and people telling you how great you are. And you just have to remember you're human just like anybody else. And that what was the thing that got you there in the first place? And for me, football was fun, first and foremost.
Right.
And I like the challenge of it all. I like that it was a tough game. And I love playing linebacker, because to me, linebackers are the alpha males of defense. And I love playing that position. So those things kind of kept me humble. And I realized that, people are always coming after you, and that it's always competition,
mm-hmm.
And the guy that maybe a freshman one year, he grows up and becomes a man, and he's coming after you. And plus, when I was at Clemson, there was really great competition. We had a great, outstanding linebacker crew. And it just kind of kept me humble. It just kept me grounded. And those were the things that kind of got me through, just being grounded, having faith in God, and knowing that, and having the mindset that I can get it done.
Right.
So, there's a lot of formulas that a lot of people tell you about, but I really believe in having tremendous faith is the very key to all of it. So I did that, and I just went after it. I just went after it and had a strong mindset that I could get it done. And, fortunately for me, with God's blessing, I got it done.
That's what's
up.
up.
I love it right there. So you guys stay focused, even though there's a lot of distractions nowadays. You guys got to stay. You got to stay focused. I'm excited to talk to you guys about this next topic, because obviously we're hitting up on bowl season, and there are some guys like Levon that have done enough in the college ranks to know that they're going to be a high draft pick. Caleb Williams, who you see right here, the superstar quarterback of the USC Trojans, said he's done. We're not going to see him in a USC uniform again. Drake May, North Carolina, he said he's done wearing the powder blue. So I wanted to ask you guys, and Q, I'll start with you. Is this decision to not play in the bowl game, should that be a decision based off of the level you're going to get drafted, or the level of the bowl game that your team is playing in?
I mean, it kind of has to do with coaching. That's a great question, man. I mean, because I know the way I look at the game is you need the ball. I mean, especially if you're the quarterback, man, you're the one, that primarily was the leader, and you got him there. Finish the job, man. Finish the job. Like, if you already have an idea way before the bowl that around, at least in the ballpark of where you're going to get drafted at, you need the insurance policy in place anyway. A lot of these guys, they already have their agents lined up who they're rolling with, whatever agency. So, man, ball. You know what I'm saying? Finish the job. Because for all you know, you have a hell of a game, and that can raise your stock even more. You see what I'm saying? And of course, we get it's football, and we understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it goes back to commitment. A lot of what Levon was just talking about. It's not finishing the job. That's not being consistent. You got to finish the job, man. So I don't agree with it at all.
All right. Well, that's why we're bringing it up. And if you guys have your opinions in the comments section, please feel free to fire away. But Levon, you were actually someone who was in this position. Now, it's a lot different nowadays, but you knew you were going to be drafted.
Yeah.
Guys back in your day always played in the bowl game. Do you think if you were coming out today, you would have had a different feeling?
Man, I would hope that I would have kept playing for my guys. I think it's just one more game. I don't see it as I don't think it's going to hurt your draft stock at all. Most likely, you probably won't get hurt. And I think a lot of times, people will say, "Hey, you got to protect yourself. Oh, you're going to the pros." Let me tell you, man, it's missing this bowl game. I think missing a bowl game is not going to really hurt you at all. You hope not to get hurt, but you can get hurt walking down the street. To be honest with you, so I like to see the guys play, but I also understand maybe why some guys don't play. I also know that probably some agent is also talking to them and urging them and giving them a little bump to go because the agent gets a percentage.
Right.
Right.
It's a business.
Right.
And a lot of times as young men, we're not quite developed yet as far as our mental capacity is concerned.
True.
Also, our maturity factor is not always there. And a lot of times we kind of go with, we kind of go with with who we think is authority figure a lot of times.
Right.
And I'm not saying we're misled, but I think a lot of times we are influenced very easily. Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of guys that just like, if their agent or the guy, they're just like, hey, you need to come out. Those guys are coming out. So I would like to see.
Do you think it should be based more off of the level that the kid is getting drafted or off of the game that they're playing in? Because we haven't seen someone say no to a playoff game yet. I know Antigba did, the wide receiver, but he was already hurt. We haven't seen somebody who is playing say no to a playoff game.
No, they're not going to.
Okay, yeah. So you think that it's based off of more of the game that you're playing at the level.
Yeah,
it could possibly be. I think more so if you're in a playoff situation, more guys are going to stay and say, "Hey, let me try to get this championship." And if you're not in that championship mix, I mean, I'm sure that studies or the stats or the research shows that guys who are not playing, are not part of that 4-team playoffs. They're probably going on to get ready for the NFL.
Right. Here's a funny thing.
McCaffrey started it. I think Christian McCaffrey started it.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it, guys. It's like they won't play. Assuming that they're not in the 4-team playoff ballot, they won't play in that, but they'll play in the Hula Bowl. They'll play at the East-West Shrine game. You see what I'm saying? They'll play. Yeah. That's not you still in school. They'll play. You see what I'm saying? They'll play. They'll play those games. Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're probably thinking this is going to help my stock or my draft status.
True
and
enough.
That's why they're playing those games.
True enough, but here's the thing, Coach. Who do we have on? My best friend Ron Warner. Ron would have been probably in that draft, 99. What is that? 97, 98 draft. Probably the first D lineman off the board. Had the most sacks in the country. What happened? East-West Shrine game, tore his ACL. Went from first round to sixth. You see what I'm saying?
Know.
You never know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, I mean, if you're going to ball, man. Because, I mean, these guys will show up for those games, but you won't play in a bowl. And plus, too, I feel like it's one of those things, Levon, how you mentioned you're playing with your guys. And I feel like as you get older, you get our age, it's like, damn, I wish I could have suited up with my dudes this one more game, man.
And it's so different.
And it's going to haunt you.
It's so different than playing in the NFL because in the NFL, it's such a business in a way that guys, when you're in college, those are your guys. You're sleeping, eating, you're doing everything with them. You grew up with them.
Yeah,
now literally. You get to the NFL, it's different because now you're playing with men who have mortgages, kids, and once practice is over with, they're going home.
Yeah, they're out. Yeah, for sure.
And then it's only but a certain amount. There's only 53 guys on that roster,
Mm-hmm.
so you're competing with those grown men. And a lot of times, well, when I went to the NFL, those grown men didn't have time for you. They didn't really speak. I mean, they didn't speak to you as a rookie. A lot of times, those guys would not even say hello. Even a guy that was in your position wasn't really trying to mentor you at all. They were basically saying, if you can't get the job done, you can't stay here.
Yeah.
So I would say, man, if you could, play as long as you can with you guys, man. Play, go in that bowl game and just have some fun and play the game.
Yep. There you go. There you go. I
All
agree.
right. So,
I
hey,
agree.
this is a real decision for a lot of young men across the country, maybe for some of you guys one day. And it's a tough one, because like they said, you get real close to those guys that you spend 3, 4, 5 years with in college. So that's a big one. This next one, you guys, this is new. These are things that we didn't deal with when we were playing college football, but it's a real thing now. And obviously we've talked at length in the locker room show about the transfer portal, but a lot of people don't know, Levon Q, that you can go into the portal and then you can bounce back. You can go back to where you came from. You say, hey, this portal ain't for me. Maybe my market value isn't as high as I thought, and I want to go back to school. So I'll start off with you, Levon. We've got the coaching hat on you. You're the head coach at Clemson.
Sure.
Michigan somewhere. A kid tells you, Coach, I'm out. I'm going in the portal. And then he calls you up and says, Coach Kirkland, I want to come back. What's Coach Kirkland say to that young man?
Oh, if it was Coach Kirkland, which is not, I probably would welcome back, because I think that guys who played before, and I know when I played in college, you didn't really have a whole lot of mentors. You didn't really have a lot of people pouring into your life that's actually done what you've done. So for me, being that guy who has gone to the highest level as far as a player is concerned, I've coached on all 3 levels, high school, college, and in the NFL, that I will welcome them back because it's more than just the game of football. It's their life experiences and giving them nuggets that will help them throughout life. And so knowing me, I would give them a chance to come back and, maybe right some wrongs, understand how the college game is a precious thing. This is a precious time. So knowing me, I would definitely give the young man another chance, unless this young man was not on par. Now, if the young man is a good man, a good young man, a good player for us, of course I'm going to welcome back. Now, if he's a knucklehead, then that's another decision.
Yeah.
We can't tolerate that.
Right.
Not at all. I'm not going to tolerate foolishness. But if he's a good young man, maybe on his way to graduating, or maybe already graduated, sure, I'd give him another shot to come back, of course.
All right,
Nice.
Q, talk to me. You're the head coach over at KU, and young man says, Coach Rowe, I'm not feeling this no more. I want to go and see how my market value is looking. And then he rings you, he calls you up late night, says, Coach, I need to come back. Are you gonna let him be a Jayhawk, or is he walking?
Man, that's tough. I think I can agree with Levon. It would have to come down to what type of man that he was, and what type of player that he was. More importantly, again, is he a good kid? Is he not ever giving us any problems? He's been in school. He's trying to graduate. No off the field issues. Then that's something that you would want to consider. Like, hey, we might want to take him back into the program, but we want to know the real. Well, the main reason I would be back, or should I say, the only way I would, assuming that was the case, is I want to know the real reason why you jumped in the portal in the first place. Like, let's talk. Let's have this dialogue. I want to know the truth. I don't sugarcoat nothing. There's me and you as a coach the player. I want to know the real reason. Was it was it, a friend, and transferred out the portal and went somewhere else and was trying to draw you in, maybe that you play high school with and you wanted to ball with your boy, or whatever the case may be. But we got to put everything out on the table and have some real honesty and some man to man before I just take you back. So not saying I wouldn't, but we definitely would have to have a talk for sure.
How do you think it goes in the locker room with the teammates?
I think that would be part two. It would be a 2-part decision because I would be allowing him back or whatever after we had our talk, but then you would have to go talk to the squad. Because if I'm giving the green light, and this is me talking with my coach hat on, if I'm talking to the kid and I'm welcoming him back, but the dynamic of him and the team is going to be a problem because the homies can't welcome him back, my brother, I'm sorry. I can get on the phone with you. I can help you down the road. But sometimes, my man, which comes with being mature, you got to stick with your decision you done made. So that it's a 2-part. That decision is 2 parts to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go. And this is real time, you guys, because some schools let the kids come back. Some schools don't.
Yeah.
These coaches have different policies. Coach Hughes is saying NIL might be the real reason that the young man's trying to see if he can get some dollars.
Yeah.
So there's a good one. All right, you guys, we're on to our next topic. And once again, thank you for joining us in the Locker Room Show. We've got the great Levon Kirkland with us. If you came across the middle, Three Rivers Stadium, you might get hit in the mouth and get all your teeth knocked out by this man. So luckily, he's on our side tonight. But we're getting into it, and we've got the right person for this question. But I wanted to say, what makes a great defense, you guys? Because we've seen all of the old school defenses with the Ravens, the Super Bowl Ravens. We've seen the great Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense that won the Super Bowl that had Warren Sapp and Lynch and all of those boys. And then, of course, we got to go back to the Bears and Steel Curtain and everything. And the gentleman that we have tonight is one of the top 10 linebackers in Steelers history, you guys. There's some programs and organizations that are synonymous with certain positions like the 49ers and quarterbacks, the Steelers and linebackers. It doesn't get better than that, you guys. So to be ranked as one of the premier, one of the best, this may be the best group ever
that's
here.
Nasty. Kevin Green.
That's probably
Greg
giving
Lloyd,
some quarterbacks some nightmares there. So let's start off with you, Levon. Give me what makes a great defense, man.
Wow. I think there's a lot of things that go into it, but I think maybe the number one thing is that you got to have the boys, you got to have the guys and not only have the players in the right position, but also those players have got to take ownership of the defense. The best defenses I've been on, we took ownership of what we were doing out there. We did. We really took personal responsibility. And then, you had to really, just in my day, you had to get the players' approval to be out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
We had guys like Ron Woodson and Greg Lloyd. And if you didn't play to their standards, you couldn't play. No, this is real talk. They would not let you play. I don't care what the coaches would say. Those guys, if they didn't want you out there, you weren't going to be out there. So you had to kind of prove to them that you love the game, you're going to be a stand-up guy, and that you're going to take ownership. But also, too, I think it's a combination of things. You got to have great coaches, and the scheme got to fit the players. When I was with Pittsburgh, we ran the 3-4, and a lot of people didn't run the 3-4 at the time, but we had a great nose guard in Joe Fee, and we had the ends who were unselfish enough to do 2-gap, which means they're basically head up on the tackles and they're really not making a lot of sacks or making a lot of plays, but they're allowing the linebackers to make plays.
Yeah.
And then in our scheme, our linebackers, myself, Chad Brown, Kevin Green, Greg Lloyd, we worked really well together. And then and for us, we were doing the fire zone. And a lot of teams weren't doing the fire zones at the time.
Back then, yeah.
So, and then quarterback was under center. Oh, man, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. And also, too, the funny thing was the front seven all wore 90 numbers, right?
That's right.
So for a line,
that is true.
For a line, it was confusing because you really didn't know who was coming. It could be me and Chad.
I never thought about that.
It could be me and Greg on one side, me and Kevin on one side, or Kevin and Greg on another side. And we did a lot of disguising. So we were very innovative at that time. And although we never won a Super Bowl, I always told people that I think that 90s defense really brought the heart and soul back to Pittsburgh. Because they were really high in the 70s. They fell off in the 80s. But when Bill Cowher came in the 90s, man, we brought that passion, we brought that fire back on that defense.
Yeah.
But you got to have some dogs. And honestly, those dogs got to take ownership. Like, we're not trying to let you run 100 yards. We took pride in that. You're not going to run 100 yards. We got goals that we're going to keep. We're going to keep you under 17 points, and you're going to pay the price. I don't know how that sounds to some people now, but I think back then, defense was nasty, and if you came across that middle, there was a toll to play. You had to pay. You had to pay that rent. Yeah. And I like that era that we played, that 90s era. It was all about, hey, man, it wasn't so offensive slanted as it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they've taken away the art of defense. But back then you could hit a dude a little later, you could intimidate. And that's what defense is all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Intimidation.
Absolutely.
Now you can't really do it as much. But back in my day, you could intimidate guys.
Yeah.
You run across that middle, and if you don't catch that ball, so what?
Yeah.
You're going to get popped in the mouth. If you throw that ball, you threw the ball, I still got about 2 more seconds to hit you in the mouth.
Yeah.
So now you understand that you can't just sit back in that pocket and massage that ball.
Comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna get knocked out.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And speaking of, because we've got some younger ones with it that might not have seen how physical this man was and what he's talking about, let me play a little clip for you before we get to the lightning round. There you go. There's what he's talking about. You can hit him. You can't hit him high anymore, Levon. You would have lost all your money, brother.
Man,
I would have lost some money.
I'm telling you. You know what else I noticed too about Vic Kirk, about y'all's defense, man, the Tampa defense, those notorious Baltimore defenses that I noticed. I was watching like some huddle, a couple of high schools in the area in Houston, and they don't talk. They don't talk, and I noticed that with the greatest you always see somebody pointing. Y'all always talking. There's two things I always see with a great defense. You're always talking. I'm talking about all the way up until the snap. We talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they play fast.
Yes.
play
Well,
extremely fast.
I always thought communication was the key. A lot of times, just being on the same page. And a lot of times when you communicate that well, you can actually call the wrong play and still be
And
right.
work through it. 100%. And
Yeah.
work right through it with
And
no
right.
problem.
And so
Absolutely.
sometimes I would tell guys, shut up, run what I say run.
Yep.
That's just,
Yeah.
we're going to run it. Doesn't matter. And luckily for me, I had some guys that were really good guys, and they listened, man. If I was making a mistake, they'd say, "No, no, Kurt, let's do this." Okay, all right, we're doing this. We're talking constantly. It was almost like when you see basketball, how they communicate.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing, and we took up for each other too. If a guy misses man, I was able to make up the difference. And I would tell my outside linebackers, either you spill it or you squeeze it. It doesn't matter. I'll play off you.
Right.
Because the action for them happened so fast, but I was maybe 4.5 yards back. So I can see it a little bit better than they could. And so I could adjust a little bit more than what they could. So a lot of times we would just talk. I would just tell guys, do your thing. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll back you up.
I'm telling
And
you.
I think that's one of the things that is really missing. The huddle. Getting in the huddle. The huddle was important because sometimes as a defense, you're not playing as well. And you need that gathering and say, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity as a signal caller to look at everybody in their eyes and like, come on, let's go. Let's get it up. Or, Greg Lowe is really good at doing that as well. So, yeah, I think communication is definitely not there anymore. And then also when we were covering tight ends, that communication was important. And I don't know if it's quite there anymore, but I know back in my day it was something that was vital, crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's man. I mean, if
you played against a lot of great quarterbacks too. The quarterbacks
I was about to say
probably aren't as strong.
A ton.
Today.
A ton. Absolutely.
Yeah, you had Dan Marino. Steve Young.
A lot of gold jackets, boy.
A lot of gold jackets.
A lot of gold jackets. Yeah.
John Elway. Yeah, there were a lot of those guys, man. And even the running backs were amazing.
Yeah.
At that time too.
The best of the best.
You have some guys that could really play. And one of my highlights, it's still one of my highlights, is I intercepted Dan Marino. And the story it goes like this, right? You grow up watching Dan Marino and how amazing Dan could throw the ball. And I remember him coming up to the line of scrimmage, and he looked at me. I was a young player, maybe my third year.
Hold on. Where were you lining up at? You gotta tell the whole story. Where were you lining up? Give us the whole picture.
I give you the whole picture. They talk to the line of scrimmage. I'm the buck linebacker, which is a strong side linebacker.
Right.
It's around the 50-yard line or so. Dan Marino comes out his huddle.
Mm-hmm.
And normally they'll call the Mike linebacker, who's the strong side linebacker, which was me. But what he did, and I caught him doing this, was they looked at each other, and he looked at me, and I knew they were going to try me. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a play action pass, and they're going to try to get me down the seam because I was a big linebacker,
yeah,
and so they didn't know that I can run with pretty much anybody at the time,
right.
So he's probably thinking, we can take this guy. We can take him deep. And when they came to the line of scrimmage, I took a step back. Because usually we play about 4. I stepped back maybe about 5.
Okay.
I was like, it had happened. It was a play action pass right to me. Like they were trying to, they ran like a lead to my side.
Okay.
And I knew it wasn't a lead. So what I did was, I saw the play action pass and I looked right at Keith Jackson. And he was getting off the line of scrimmage I'm like, they're throwing him the ball.
Because he's getting out of there too fast.
Yeah, so he's trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with him. I'm on the hashes because he's running. I know he's going to run on the hash.
Right.
So he's running on the hash. And so I'm running with him. And I was just really good at covering. That was probably one of my better skills. And once he looked back, I locked his arm and I looked back with him.
Ball
and then
right
Marino
there.
throws this pretty sparrow. It comes right to me. I catch it. I get no yards on it. But I'm talking to myself like, man, I just intercepted.
One of the great
Marino.
One
of the greatest quarterbacks
ever, right?
Ever played the game. And then,
did you keep the ball?
Oh, you know I did.
Yeah, he kept the ball. I could have answered that.
Yeah. And then years later, as I was coaching with the Arizona Cardinals, one of our guys really was a big Dan Marino fan. And I said, well, let me go talk to him. Let's go talk to him. So I talked to him, and he's like, Levon Kirkland, what's up, Kirk? I said, I didn't know he was going to recognize me. I said, hey, Dan, do you remember? He said, yes.
Nice. They remember everything.
Man, that's a legendary story. And to have a story like that, to intercept a guy like that, and for him to remember it.
Oh, yeah.
That's big
definitely.
Time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, it also shows that he respected you.
No doubt.
Which he better respect you. I think every quarterback that lined up against you respected you. We got some people coming in the chat. Let's see. Coach Hughes says, should have read. That's what the kids don't want to do these today. Yeah, you got that right. And then we've got the great Munoz family out of Texas saying greetings from Texas. Munoz family, we love you. And we know you got a superstar in your house too. So thank you for joining us. But we are on, you guys, to the lightning round, round section of the show. And we are excited to have this gentleman tonight. I got a pretty good list tonight, but if you're joining us for the very first time, you guys, the lightning round is our version of a little word association. We like to put our hosts or our guests through a little blitz and see what's on their mind. So we got the great Levon Kirkland tonight, a lot in his life. So we're going to give him 60 seconds to tell us the first thing that comes to his mind when I say a few items that are on this paper. So some people may be watching that know Levon. Hopefully he doesn't call you out on anything. But I am about to go through. You ready, big dog?
Let's Kurt. Now listen, Kurt, I'm gonna be your safety behind you, talking to you, big dog.
Okay.
Hey,
listen,
hey,
I'm looking back.
Right.
I'm looking back
hey, look, it's no huddle. We going right.
Okay.
Hey, we from the line. Ain't
all
no huddle. Let's go.
Let's do
it. So yes, indeed. One word answers are going to be your best bet to get through this. We got him at double zeros because I don't need him chasing me down like Michael Bishop saying I cheated him. So we got him at double zeros, as you guys see. And he's going to say, you guys, the first thing that comes to his mind as I rattle off. I got some people. I got some places. I got some either or, and we're going to hear the first thing that comes to his mind. Now, we don't just do this for fun. I know you probably like to eat a little something. So if you can get to 15 or higher, then you got a dinner on the Locker Room Show. We got to Zelle you some money, Cash App you some money, and you got a dinner on the Locker Room Show. So the number's 15 or higher. He's in the mix. Now, we give him one. We give him one for tech delay. So even if he gets to 14, y'all, he's in the mix for the free dinner. All right. So let's get started with the lightning round.
Come on, Kurt.
He's
at
zeros.
Let's do it.
And it's the first thing. The first thing that comes to his mind. On your mark. First thing. Lamar High School. Go.
Silver Foxes.
Dabo Sweeney.
National champion. One word.
Steak and mashed potatoes or steak and eggs?
A1.
Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor?
Eddie Murphy.
Mike Tomlin.
Great.
South Carolina Gamecocks.
Sucks.
Troy Aikman.
Golden boy.
Best player you ever played against.
Barry Sanders.
Jet ski or snowboard.
Snowboard.
TJ Watt.
Sacks.
Philly or Seattle.
Philly.
Dark meat turkey or white meat turkey.
Dark meat.
Ty is rolling. He was
Hey, he
rolling.
might have got that. Hey, you know what, Coach? I gotta say something. He's one of the first guys that didn't get caught up on best player you get played against. Now, here's the thing. Much respect to Barry Sanders. Out of all that, you have to understand who we talking to now. But Kurt, you one of the few guys. Everybody gets caught up on that question, especially you, because you've seen so many gold jacket players. So for you to rattle off Barry with him, that's saying something about Barry Sanders. Everybody gets caught up on that question.
Let me tell you something how special Barry was. I really took pride in stopping the run, but I understood when I played against Barry Sanders, I was telling everybody, listen, we all got to tackle this guy. Because what he could do was Barry could embarrass you. You know, I mean, like,
little game.
You know, before Randy Moss, you got Moss.
Yeah.
Man, Barry Sanders were shaking people left and right. I mean, one of my teammates, he actually messed his knee up, Rod Whitson, the first game of the season. He gave Rod a little. He gave Rod a little left right.
I remember that.
Gone. And you could hold Barry down all game long, but he could break away from 80 yards from you. So
just like that, yeah.
He had the shapes, but he also had that home run speed that it was. I'll put it this way: I didn't fear anybody, but he gave me some concerns.
He was special.
I was concerned about
Mr.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I was concerned.
And to me, he's the greatest player to ever play.
So tell me this, Levon. What is, when you know you're playing against a future Hall of Famer like Barry Sanders, what is the defensive coordinator telling you the week before?
Game time. He can't tell me nothing. He can't really. Because I always say it this way. Wow. When you're talking about scheme, when you're talking about strategy, to me, it all works and it all doesn't work. It's the players. So you can have Barry Sanders. I mean, he could draw up nice
call the play,
and he'll still break an angle. They teach you about angles and all that stuff when you're playing football,
and that goes out the window.
It all goes out the window because he's so good that he breaks the rules. He breaks the principles, not only the rules, but he breaks the principles of a game. Okay, he's running to his right. We got him all locked up. Then he reverse field and
catch
go back.
One block and gone.
It's over.
Just like that.
You've seen the highlights.
Yeah.
A lot of guys can't do that. So I've gone against Emmitt Smith. I mean, all kind of running backs now. Those guys didn't scare me as much as Barry Sanders. And people would say, well, Barry was a smaller back. No, he was a shorter back. He wasn't small. He was rocked up. Those legs, those thighs he had.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like hitting a brick. That's like hitting a brick wall. So when you're playing against Barry Sanders, you're a little concerned. You're worried.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not bragging, but I was a man's man, you know? Like, I was a big dude. I was a man's
alpha.
Man. Yeah. Barry Sanders had me concerned. I almost asked him for his autograph, actually.
but I mean, like, Kurt, I mean, and you telling the God's honest truth. I mean, I've I had conversations with a lot of great linemen like yourself, man. Simeon Rice, like myself, my man. I mean, Warren Sapp. I mean, they will tell you they will have the man hemmed in with nowhere to go, nowhere to go, and he will put his foot in the ground, make one cut, and be gone. just like that. And like you said, he'll have 12 carries for 15 yards and then busted for 90 on you. Like,
man.
God, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was special.
He was that to me. He was that special.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
especially
There you
in
go.
teams, teams really ran the ball a lot, and so to have a running back like Barry, who was really very consistent, very durable.
And he was the whole show.
Yeah, he didn't really. I mean, people say whatever about his offensive line, but he didn't really need one. Not really.
That's
Wow.
Not really.
There you go. There you go. So let's count them up, you guys. We've got Lamar High School. That's where he went to school. That's number one. We've got Dabo Sweeney, number two. He's going with the A1. Number three, best player he's ever played against. We talked about that's four. And then did you say Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. So that's five. We got Mike Tomlin, six. We got South Carolina Gamecocks. He does not like because he went to Clemson. That's seven. We got Troy Aikman on the 8. We got TJ Watt on the 9. He's going snowboarding on the 10. And we got Philly over Seattle on the 11 and 12. Oh, he's got the dark meat for 12. So 13 with the tech delay. 13. Very close. Very close. And we appreciate you having some fun with us. He was rolling. He was rolling.
Well, can I say something about the South Carolina question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, they've been our little brothers for so long that, you know, you don't hate on them because they're your little brother, right?
Yeah.
You control them. You make them hit themselves, you know?
Right.
So I just want to say that because there might be some South Carolina fans that may feel a certain way because I just suck. And although I do think you do suck, I also treat you like a little brother. Which means I have love for you, but I got to pick at you every once in a while.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yeah.
And now, Kurt, you know you're going to have Sterling call us and cuss us out now. You know?
Hey, man.
You know Sterling gonna get on our head.
You know Sterling Sharp, man. I used to like Sterling. When I left, when I was in high school, I wasn't really a South Carolina or Clemson fan. I kind of like both teams. But I'm gonna tell you, when I was in college, man, me and my roommate, and he would tell you this, Tony Kennedy, Sterling Sharp was a senior at South Carolina, and we're at Clemson, and we used to wake up every morning to look at the Joe Morrison show. To see what Sterling Sharp did.
Yeah.
That man was one of the
people don't know.
Hey, he was
all time.
He was.
People don't know.
And he doesn't get enough credit, Kurt.
He doesn't.
Man, hey.
And I love Shannon. And Shannon was a Hall of Famer, but Sterling Sharp
was special, man.
Whew.
He was. If you could describe, and
Shannon will tell you that.
Oh, well, no, he will. He honestly will. But here's the thing, and it's funny you say that because people don't understand. A lot of people didn't get a chance to see Sterling before he got hurt, unfortunately. If you could imagine, if the best way I could describe Sterling is Jerry Rice in a bigger, stronger, faster body.
Yeah,
Jerry Rice, Debo.
That's what Sterling Sharp was. He was
Sterling Sharp was one of the strongest wide receivers.
Dude, he was unstoppable. Unstoppable.
Yes, yes,
I mean, dude, he was.
If you try to bump and run Sterling Sharp,
it's over, dude. It's over.
He's gonna leave you.
It's over.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he's gonna jack you up.
Literally.
Yeah, so if Sterling is listening, I used to watch his highlights, and I was at Clemson.
Right, Sterling was a bad man.
University, and I'm watching Sterling Sharp highlights.
Wow.
I'm not mad at you, Kurt. Hey, I was a bad man. I'm not mad at
guy now.
Coach Hughes says we got a -1 for not taking Richard Pryor. That's what Coach Hughes said. And then Coach Fall says, be glad you're on the West Coast. Got to give him 14. So people coming on in the chat right there, they always enjoy the lightning round. So thank you for having fun. So we are on to the last section of the show, you guys. Amazing content, great value. Obviously, this man's a legend on the football field. So thank you for joining us tonight, Levon. For the last section of the show, this is our Q&A section of the show. So if you guys are live with us and you have a question that you want to ask Mr. Levon Kirkland, and feel free to put it in the comment section, which is live right now. But Q, I know you've got a question for our guest.
Definitely. And this isn't the first time I asked, a Steeler. But Big Kurt, man, this kind of give us some insight, man, on, I mean, it's, when you talk about the world of NFL football, man, it's some franchises that are just legendary, man. And if you play for that organization, it's just different in multiple ways. So just kind of give us some sauce, man, on specifically, playing with the Steelers, man. I mean, and because you got the Steelers or the Cowboys. It's kind of like in baseball, like the Yankees, and it's these specific teams that are just different. They just kind of a cut above other teams, and they have all this history and pageantry surrounding them, man. So when you found out I'm going to the Steelers, man, and playing for them, it had to be different. You know what I'm saying? And you say going like to Cincinnati, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was very different because the linebacker legacy with the Steelers was just off the chain. Not just Jack Lambert and Jack Ham, but you had other linebackers that throughout the history, Merriweather, David Little, Brian Hinkle, guys like that who set the standards. And then when I got there was Greg Lloyd. And if you don't know anything about Greg Lloyd, he was super alpha male. I mean, he was sizzle.
For you to say that, that's next level.
And he was next level as far as a man's man. I mean, like
chew on tree bark, man. Like
they had signs for him, and that was the big thing about being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Like you had to earn a sign. Like people would have signs or whatever like that. He had one called Avoid Lloyd, and one of my favorite was Just Plain Nasty.
Man,
and he was plain nasty. And I'm coming in with this guy. And I'm like, I got to step my game up. And then, Chad Brown came into the fold. And the same year, Kevin Green came into it. And we just kind of meshed. So that Steeler defense, man, was a big deal for us. And we really wanted to match what the guys in the 70s did. Because you would see those guys come in the locker room. Like Jack Ham, Mel Blunt. They were all coming in the locker room. So you were getting history. The team that won 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, those guys were coming into the locker room.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it just when you go into the I guess clubhouse back then, you just could feel the history and the aura that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Rooney family did such a good job of inviting you into the family and helping you understand what a Pittsburgh Steeler was. So that's going to be blue collar. You're going to be in the community, and you're going to play hard for that team. It was something about that black and gold that meant everything to you. And you just took ownership of it.
Yeah.
You were a Pittsburgh Steeler, man. It was just like I took pride. And I grew up not liking the Pittsburgh Steelers. And being able to be a part of that great organization, it was a treat, man, because they treated you well there. They ran business, but they treated you well.
Yeah.
So that was the thing about being a Pittsburgh Steeler, man. It was just such a bond that it's hard to shake. And even today, you're wearing Pittsburgh Steeler gear. You're part of the family. They bring you back in. They invite you back.
Yeah.
So they did a great job of welcoming you in. And then the city of Pittsburgh. I went back last week for an autograph signing, and people still remember, like they still remember.
Oh, for sure.
And it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, we really appreciate everything you did. And I was a really good player, but man, for people still to wear 99 Kirkland, it's amazing. It really is.
Wow.
It's a football city, but that's exactly
Really?
why I asked the question, man. That's why
man.
it's different, man.
And the
It's
thing
different.
is too,
It's different.
the Steelers, if you're on defense backing up, it was like you got love. Like most cities are offensive wise. You know,
Good point.
they love the quarterback. They love the offensive side.
Nah.
Pittsburgh is all defense.
Man,
and
the city is hard nosed, man. It's a hard nosed city.
And it's linebackers.
Yeah.
They love their linebackers and their D line. They do.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's a picture of me covering Shannon Sharp. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Incomplete, baby. Incomplete.
That was about 40 yards down the field. But the thing was, the year before we're in a Pro Bowl, and this man tells me that I can't cover him. He's gonna take me deep. You know, Shannon like to talk, and I wasn't that much.
I did the other day, and you can't cover me, Kirkland.
You can't cover
you're not sending me talking.
And I was like,
can't cover me.
And the thing is, you know, for the most part, I'm pretty nice, humble guy. But on that field, I kind of turned into something a little different.
I bet.
And he was trying to run downfield with me, and I had him blanketed. Covered up. But because he talked trash, this was my first Pro Bowl, and he was talking trash to me.
You see,
and he don't know. I was like, we'll see.
Well, there you go, Shannon. We're gonna have to cut this up and send it to him on the DM on this.
And the thing was, I listened to his show with Ocho, and he was like, nobody can cover him deep. And I was like,
see,
I got an interception. I intercepted on covering him one time, and he tried to take me deep, and I covered him then. So every time that we played, I covered him. So.
Hey, you done heard it live. Big Curtin told the coach, you know what we got to
locked
do.
Him up. He had the seatbelt on.
Ask him if it's a lie.
He's got the seatbelt on him. He got the seatbelt on you, Shannon. And I do see a question real quick in here, and thank you guys. We got a lot of Steelers fans, and I'd be remiss to Coach Eric Foss. He says black and gold through and through. I gotta find a way to get you some money. We gotta get Coach Foss an autograph. He said, "Man, you got Levon coming on. I need an autograph ball." So I'm gonna have to talk to you. I'm about to talk to you offline. And then we've got a question here from Sheila Joe. She says, from a Gamecock graduate, so she wasn't too happy with the way you were talking. From a Gamecock graduate, if you were still playing in the NFL today, which coach would you like to play for? That's a good question.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, I would love to play for Andy Reid, and because Andy Reid is that man. I played with.
Did you get him in Philly? Yeah, in Philly. Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Cowher was my guy.
Yeah.
But man, Andy Reid,
he can coach.
I like Andy Reid, man.
Yeah,
I really do.
But he's still old school though, Kurt. That you know what I'm saying?
Right. The guy that I would like to play for, honestly, and I know this is going to sound a little favoritism, but Mike Tomlin. Because I sat in one of Mike Tomlin's meetings one day, and he was addressing the players, and I was like, I could play for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely can get your attention. This guy is smart. This guy, he knows.
Let me ask you.
He's a great communicator.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Levon, and I don't want to keep it. We're not going to keep you all night, but let me ask you, because I just thought of this when you said that. As a veteran NFL player, new coach comes in. How long is a veteran giving an NFL new head coach to get the ship right? How long are you giving him before you sniffing out BS or before you say I'm all in?
You're sniffing out BS right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sniffing out BS right away. And it's so funny, as a football player on that level, boy, you can sniff some BS a mile away.
Yeah.
You can tell it's funny. You can tell who's going to be a good player, and you can tell who's going to be a good coach. You just have
Really?
that instinct. Yeah. So if he's not a good coach, guess what? For the most part, I'm not really listening to whatever he says.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go off my experience, and I'm going to do that. But fortunately for me, I had some really good coaches in my lifetime. Coach Coward, Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid, Dick LeBeau, guys like that. So I had some great coaches.
Yeah, Coach LeBeau's awesome, man.
But if the coach was not real, oh yeah, I just wasn't even going to listen to him. And most players would tell you that they were if he's some phony baloney, yeah, I'm just not going to listen to him. Like Urban Meyer, and I respect what he did in college, but when you try to bring that into the NFL, and you try to like that whole Tim Tebow thing, to me, it would not have went over very well because it's not in the NFL. It's not about that rah guy. Hey man, you got to play. If you ain't no player, then don't be trying to rah and try to lead me. You can't lead me because you're not a player.
Yeah,
and I know you're not a player.
Yeah.
So don't be talking to me like, "Hey man, let's go. Man, shut up and do your job. How about that?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that for us?
Yeah.
And I thought he really miscalculated bringing Tim Tebow in.
Yeah.
Because this guy hadn't played in like 7 years. And when he played, he was an okay player. So you telling me you're gonna bring him in and he's gonna be your leader?
Yeah.
That's a BS coach right there.
Yeah. I can agree.
And you'd be like, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Lose the locker room. Yeah,
Yeah,
lost the
it
locker
shows.
room.
I don't have anything personally against Urban Meyer. And he's a great college coach. And it worked for college.
Right.
It doesn't always translate to the NFL.
I got one more question, Kurt. I gotta ask this, and you just let it rip. But I just want to know your opinion on it. Why do you think Coach Coward, man, never came back in the coaching, man? I mean, what I'm saying, I know for a fact, with multiple players, multiple agents, that he had got so many offers over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't he never come back, man?
Oh man, I don't really know. I can't say that I know the answer for this. And I thought he would come back.
Yeah,
because to me, man, I love Bill Coward, man. I really.
That was a dude.
That was my guy.
Yeah.
He was like, you could tease Bill, and because I think Bill was a former player, he understood how to take it,
right,
and he could give it back to you as well. He was a tremendous leader because he always took responsibility for what happened with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, that's what you got to do. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to take, you can't blame other guys for, not getting it done. He will always put himself out there first. And he knew how to push your buttons. If you would introduce Bill Coward to your family, he would remember everybody's name in your family.
Wow.
So Bill was that guy that you would play hard for, man. I love playing for Bill Coward. Now I don't know why he never came back. You have to ask him that. But man, I'm sure that a lot of teams try to convince him to come back. At one point in time, I thought he was going to come back to NC State because there was some rumblings about that.
I remember that.
You could almost. I tell you what. I guarantee you, if Bill Coward said, "Hey, I'd like to coach today,"
right?
Oh, he'll have an offer.
100%. 100%. Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you, he could coach, man. And his best coaching job, I thought, was when we were like 3-4. The year we went to the Super Bowl, we come back to the facilities, and he basically tells us, forget about the 3-4 season. We start the season over with, and it starts with Jacksonville. And so he was like, so we won that game. And he was like, we were 1-0. Even though we were 4-4, to us in that locker room, we were 1-0.
Yeah.
We went 2-0. We won 8 games in a row. And for us, we were 8-0.
Oh, right. Because he knew how to tap in.
From when you made your mind up.
Yeah.
A philosopher.
But that's the greats, man.
And
that's the him, the Bill
They know
Parcells.
They know how to tap into behavior. They know how to help you see it in a different way. And they know how to change your mindset.
Yeah.
So, dude, we're walking around talking about we 8-0.
It worked. It worked.
It worked. We're actually 11-4, and it worked. It was the craziest thing. But guess what? We all believed it. We all took it. And that, to me, that's just an example of what a great coach can do for you.
Facts.
I love it. I love it. Well, we will end it right there, you guys. And that's why we wanted to bring this gentleman on. I've been hounding him because I knew he would bring it in the locker room just like he did on the field. So, Levon, thank you so much for joining us tonight, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No doubt.
Definitely. All right, you guys. So, hey, that is the great Levon Kirkland. That is someone who, like I said, you guys, Steelers legend, South Carolina Q, the state of South Carolina Hall of Fame, Clemson Hall of Fame, Steelers Hall of Fame, probably going to be in the College Hall of Fame, So, man, just great stories. And he was a real one, man. He was a real one.
Man. He was bonafide.
Different day and age. Different day and age.
Oh, definitely, man. But man, I know he's got some stories. Great stories. But I'm just glad I'm glad he said what he said about Barry Sanders, man, because it's always this argument, but he was special, dude. Like he was.
We've gotten Randy Moss before. We've gotten a few Junior Seau's, Troy Polamalu's. But for someone who is so feared on defense to say, hey, I lost a little sleep,
Right.
I lost a little sleep.
Yeah, he was special, man. And Coach, how's the thing? Like you had mentioned when he was telling the story, like that's all that the Lions had. That whole stadium knew he was getting the ball, and you got 11 dudes after this man and can't stop him.
That's why I said, what does the defensive coordinator say? I mean, when he breaks a crazy run and you come to the sideline, what does the defensive coordinator say?
You nothing. You can't, man. Mission control can't do anything, man. They up in the box.
I called the right defense, and y'all just got shook. And he went to the house. What do I say to you guys?
It's nothing else. It's Barry, man.
He got all 11 of you.
Hey, and did it repeatedly, man. That's why he's Barry Sanders, dude.
Them blew out Roberts and knee.
Oh man, I saw that play. I mean, it was just that was nasty, filthy. Filthy, man.
So Barry, we got to get.
We have to get him on. We have to work on getting him on, cause we got to
find out where the Heisman House at.
Yeah, we're going to drive up to Wichita. That's what we're going to have to do. We
there you go. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. We love you. Hold us down every single Thursday. Come on back next week because we're gonna have another great guest for you guys, and we're pulling the best from the industry. And we're going to pull from all areas of the industry to make sure that you guys know how this business works so that you guys can hear other people's journeys and so that you guys can make the most out of your own journey. We've got my wife coming in saying phenomenal show. We've got the great Coach Eric Foss saying great show. Thanks. I know he's a huge Steelers fan. Coach Hughes is saying all I can say is Barry Sanders.
Man.
All I can say is Barry Sanders. All right, you guys. Love you. We'll see you at the top. And come on back next week for another episode of the Locker Room Show. Have a good one.